Welcome to the channel. It's me, Russ. Got a record I want to talk about. A record I've been wanting to talk about for a while. This is also a contest entry for another YouTuber. His channel is called Two in the Trunk. For Tony out there, Italian guy. So why not talk about an Italian rock band? All right. This is Måneskin. This is also a reaction a little bit to 33.5 RPM's channel. Frank's channel, who did a video on how rock and roll's not dead, it's just old and wrinkled. And he talked about this era of arena rock kind of dying as we see some of our favorite bands aging, you know? And these bands, like the Rolling Stones is going out on tour again. Like, we're hoping, because a lot of these tours get canceled because guys are in their, 70s, pushing 80. I believe Mick Jagger is 80 or dang close to it. And I get it. Like, I get what he's saying there. And I will put a link to that video in the description of this too, because it's like, he makes some good points. But what he didn't bring up is this band here. I love this band. My wife and I love this band. This record in particular, which I've wanted to do kind of a deep dive on. It's just a lot. There's just a lot to editing that. And that's what I like about some of these, you guys out there in the vinyl community doing these videos. You don't edit a lot. I think sometimes I edit too much, and then it becomes like a lot, like hours of work to put some of these videos out. And I just wanted to share from the heart some of my passion, or our passion, about this record and the band in particular. But this record is part of the band's character, I believe. The first album, which came out in 2018, was just overproduced, in my opinion. Now, some history about the band: they won Eurovision. X Factor in Italy put in a certain, they won Eurovision. And my response to that is, like, how many, like, Eurovision happens every year, and how many bands do you know that are actually have a global impact that won Eurovision? like what, ABBA, Celine Dion. That's about all I got. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, not to dump on those other bands. I'm sure they're very talented, but this is a rock and roll band. All right, make no mistake. This is a rock and roll band, and unlike Greta Van Fleet. Okay, I like Greta Van Fleet, I mean, they do sound a lot like Led Zeppelin, I'll give you that. And while some people may hate on them for that, I like Led Zeppelin, so it's sort of like, hey, it's like Led Zeppelin's releasing new work. This band doesn't sound like anyone but Måneskin. This is a rock and roll band that's very unique, all right? It's an Italian, mostly Italian. There's 2 songs in English on this record, but this is mostly an Italian recording. And it's visceral, all right? This is totally different sound than the first record, which again sounded overproduced. You got all these, X Factor or whoever Simon Cowell's people are, or whoever, right, headed up the way that these guys came up with a label. Same producer, but this is also recorded in analog. So that's another cool thing about a popular band that. And listen, this is not just something that Frank brought up too, Frank Lowry, that younger people aren't into this music. We went to Vancouver. We just shared a video of our experience in the hotel that we were in there and going to see this band. In the first album, they had the Frankie Valli cover, Beggin', which some of you probably heard on the radio. Is still, is our most popular hit, so to speak. Yes, an old cover of an old song, but this is all incredible material. A brand of anger, or punkness, if we could use that word. Damiano, lead singer and wrote a lot of this music, said in an interview, ours is not an anger that's directed towards someone, but an anger that moves, an anger that creates revolutions, a cathartic anger that leads to oppressions and oppressors, which leads to blowing off steam and rebelling against everything that makes you feel wrong. I love that. That's a very punk attitude. This idea that every new generation kind of refreshes culture and the world and how us humans think and feel moving forward. It's hopefully hopeful. I spent the most, here's another one. I spent the most time, according to streaming data or whatever they send you at the end of the year, I spent the most time in 2023 with this record, listening to this record while I driving around in my van in between jobs and stuff. Love this record. Went to the show, bringing it back around. There was mostly young people there, mostly Gen Z people there, mostly like high school age people there. And this was a sold out show in a hockey arena at the college. Not too long, was it before or after? I can't remember. It's on my shirt, all the tour dates. But they sold out Madison Square Garden. And I know some of you are thinking, well, yeah, there's the bots and the ticket bots. Like, no, they actually sold out butts and seats, Madison Square Garden. This is a rock and roll band to contend with. There's a lot of that in the punk community, like, oh, it's popular, it's not cool. And my reaction is kind of like, why not? This guy started in Rome, Italy, busking on the streets. There was no bar scene. The only way they were going to get noticed or get other people to hear their music was entering like a singing competition, which, hey, guess what? Those are popular nowadays. And this music became popular. This album is amazing. I'm running out of time. Thanks for the contest, Tony. Hopefully you get a chance to spin this record or listen to some of this music. As an Italian guy especially, because it is raw Italian. This record pushes limits and boundaries. This record is a reaction to that attitude that they need to be in some kind of box that the producers or whatever record companies want to put them in, and just life in general. Thanks again. Check out Måneskin. This album is amazing. So is Rush. I did a whole video on that, which got some good traction as well. I'll put it in the end screen. Here, later. Bye. Gotta go.